there, welcome to my channel. My name is Sandra, and though I'm new to YouTube video content creation, I am not new to my love of Disney, and that's what I'm going to share on this channel. We'll be talking pins, unboxings, mystery unboxings, merchandise hauls, shopping hauls, box swaps, crafts with Disney, and more. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. But today we're going to talk about pin collecting for beginners. So if you've joined, you're probably interested in taking your pin collection up a notch or starting a pin collection at all. When I started my pin collection, I was in my adulthood with my kids. I had been to Disney several times, and I still only go every few years. But what I would do is collect on a single lanyard the pins that interested me, maybe one per trip. And maybe you've done something similar and acquired something like this on a lanyard over the years, where you have multiple different styles pins for different reasons. Some of them might have been for a specific trip. I would collect one pin, and it might be what just ever appealed to me for that trip with the date on it. If we went, like this one was a holiday pin for 2018, where we attended at Christmas time. Or it could be just something that appeals to me, or is a favorite movie, something like that, or a park we visited. In fact, that's MGM Studios, which is no longer called that. So some of them are a little older than others, but that was a fun way to build a Disney pin collection. In the last 2 years, I found out that there's a way to collect Disney pins without going to the parks. And that was pretty new to me. And there was a lot of information that I didn't understand, a lot of terminology. And so I wanted to create this content to help you with some of what I learned over the past 2 years. And mostly as a result of COVID and watching other great YouTubers deliver some of this information. There's a lot of expert collectors out there that can tell you a whole lot more than I can. But I want to start with some of the basics so that you can start where I started, or at least this will help you to know some of the things I've learned. So the first thing I want to cover is where to get pins. And so we'll talk about a couple of ways to acquire pins. The first of that being in person. So obviously, if you go to Disney, there's pins. If you go to downtown Disney or Disney Springs, there's pins there. There's pin shops. There's pins in the other merchandise stores, and you can collect that way. Many of us don't get to Disney very often, and some of us have never been to Disney, and that doesn't mean you can't have and keep a Disney pin collection. So the other places to get Disney pins, we'll talk about different areas, but in person, the next way to get pins is at a store that sells Disney licensed pins. In my area, that's Box Lunch and Hot Topic. Those are two retail stores, typically in a mall, and they cover many, many fandoms like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, Disney, plenty of others. And so they have a lot of Disney merchandise, and pins is one of the things that they do carry. And so you can go in there, look at a wall of pins, and choose the ones you want in person. They also carry the mystery boxes that we'll talk about soon. So the parks, Hot Topic, Box Lunch, those are a couple places to get in-person pins. If you're lucky enough to still have a Disney store open where you are, which I don't think is very many anymore, that's another way too, and you can even get some clearance pins, Disney Outlet, things like that. But for most of us, that's gone away. So let's talk about the second place to get pins, which is online shopping. So Shop Disney is available. So you can go to shopdisney.com, look up pins, and there's all kinds of pins collections there. Different pins available as they release. Many of them are released in the parks first and come on to Shop Disney a little later, so it's not always the most recent things available, but there's a lot there to choose from. Another way is to go to a small shop. So small shops such as Pink Alamode, Crack and Trade, Loungefly.com. Some of the small shops, or the Loungefly is a little bit bigger business, but those have pins available. Some of them have exclusive pins only for their site that are only available to them, but they are still Disney licensed pins that you can acquire through them, and you can trade with other Disney pin traders anywhere that licensed pins are traded. The third way to acquire Disney pins would be through live sales. So that's been a lot of fun for me this year, and it's been expensive for me. It doesn't have to be for you. But live sales are sales that are held online, like on Facebook, Instagram, and there's a new app called Pop Shop Live. And many of the pin sellers are going on there and offering their pins. But typically, let's say a live sale on Facebook is where you attend a live event. The seller is showing the pins, offering those pins up, and then you just have to be the first one to claim that pin. Sometimes they'll have multiples, and so they'll take the first few that claim it. Oftentimes it's one pin, one of that pin available, and so you need to be the first to claim it, and it's fast fingers and fast internet speed that wins the day. But there's some that are a little more low-key and easier to get what you want, but they're so much fun because they all have contests and challenges. Some have trivia, some have free shipping for spending a certain amount, or you earn a button, or you get a free pin. Some of them give away merchandise. So those are just a blast to attend, and I would encourage you to check them out. So you can look for Facebook groups, and I'll pin a couple below that you can go to and watch for their live sales. And again, that's on Instagram as well, and Pop Shop Live. The fourth way that you can get pins, and these are pins from the park, you can get a personal shopper to go to the parks and shop for you. If you have a friend that's in Florida or California and goes to Disney often, that's great too. Have them pick up what you need. But a personal shopper is somebody who has been verified. Hopefully you're using a verified shopper. There are people who are recommended, and they will go to the park, pick up a pin for you, charge you shipping and a nominal fee for their service, and send you the pins. And so that's a good way when pins first come out, when there's a new release and you can't get to the parks and you know they're going to sell out quickly, things like that. As you get to know a little more about pin collecting, personal shopper is a good way to go for those really sought after pins. Another way is to go on eBay. So eBay sells lots of pins. There's lots of pins being sold there that are also fake, so you have to be very careful. And we'll talk about hidden Mickey pins, and those are some of the more common smaller price pins, but they're counterfeited a lot, and they call those scrappers, and you want to stay away from those. And if you were to get one, you want to take it out of the rotation. That's something you don't want to trade somebody just out of courtesy. Scrappers would be fun to use in a craft, or maybe give those to your kids for their first pin board, things like that. But don't take them to the parks, don't trade them, and just be leery of that when you are shopping on eBay. There's lots of great sellers on eBay as well. And that's a good way to get a pin that you're looking for something very specific that's no longer available. Most likely somebody will be selling it there. It's also what I use to research the value of a pin. So I can look at pins there that I have and may want to trade, and I need to know the value. I can go and look at what they've been selling for on eBay. And then lastly, the sixth way to acquire pins is through pin trading. And pin trading is a whole nother ball game. That's I could create another video just on that, and there's more experts out there, but it is something you can do when you acquire pins. If you're getting pins you don't like, or you can't get a specific pin, you may be able to trade pins you have for other pins, and you can do those things in person and online, through the mail, etc. If you're interested in hearing more about that and possibly another video, leave me a comment down below. I'd be happy to do that and let you know what I know. Like I said, some of this is new for me, so there are people who know more, but I'd be happy to share from a beginner's perspective what I know as regards to pin trading. Okay, so let's move on to talk about what types of pins are there, because there's lots, and there's acronyms galore, and that's what probably confused me the most and makes a difference in value and how easy it is to acquire, how many are there of a pin, etc. So the first thing we'll talk about is open edition pins. So an open edition pin is something that typically is available at the park. They usually come on a white backer card. This was one from Epcot, so it says Italia. And like I said, they usually come on white backer cards. Sometimes they're marked with the category of the price rather than an actual price. So silver, I don't know off the top of my head what those represent, but let's say silver is $9.99 or $12.99. That would be the price of this pin. So the open edition pins are what they are. That's their value. They're usually there for a long time, available. There's plenty of them. People have access. They're easy to get, trade, acquire, etc. The next category of pins is limited edition pins. Now, limited edition can mean that a pin is available and there's only 5,000 of them, or there's 2,000, or there's 300 or 100. So the value can vary greatly between something that's a limited edition 300 versus a limited edition 2,250. Typically, those will be on a special card. They might be a series, they might not. It could be a one pin. It could be an exclusive to a company, like I mentioned, Pink Alamode, or Loungefly itself. Loungefly makes a lot of licensed pins for Disney, and a limited edition pin, will say that on the card. So this is an example of one of the monthly pins that's out now, and this is character gift boxes, and this is a Tangled one. You can see the little Pascal in the corner there. It's adorable, and you'll see here that it says limited edition. I believe this one is limited edition of 2,700 or 2,250, something like that. It says so on the back. I won't pull this one off. We'll grab another one. But these values increase on some of the limited edition pins because they are only out there for so long, and then you can't acquire them just by buying, and you have to either buy from a reseller or trade with somebody to get them, and the less that are available, the more value it becomes. That's pretty obvious. Another series, this was a transformation series. This one was from a few months ago. It might have been February's in the month series. And so this is a Ursula pin, a Little Mermaid themed, and I will take the backer card off. This is also an example of pin on pin. So what pin on pin is when there is multiple layers of a pin. So it might be pin on pin, pin on pin on pin, etc. And that's based on the layers of the pin. So you can kind of see there that there's 2 layers to this pin. As I mentioned, you won't be able to see it on the camera, but there's details on here that tell us that this pin is limited edition of 2,750. So I have one of the 2,750 pins that are out there. Some of these go, very quickly, sell out very fast. You may need a personal shopper, as I mentioned, to get them. You might be lucky enough to get them in a mystery box or something, or like I said, have a visit to the park or somebody that is able to get there for you. So those are highly sought after, more valuable. On the other type of limited one there is a limited release. So now those may come out for a period of time. Think of like the Flower and Garden Festival, and it's 2022, and they'll have a series of Flower and Garden pins that are available for 2022 as part of that festival. And so they may be a limited release that are only out during the festival. They go away after the festival. They may go on clearance somewhere. I'm not really sure what they do with them after the release period, but they're not necessarily a limited amount of pins, but they're only out for a limited period of time. I do have one example, and it'll say limited release on the card, and you'll see that there. This is one from Encanto, and this one was from Disney Movie Insiders. And I didn't get that directly. This is one I purchased from somebody, but it is a limited release. They'll say that it's not a limited number, but a limited period of time that might be available. There are also pins that are from specific places. So things like there is pins made by Walt Disney Imagineering, or Disney Soda Fountain and Studio Store, or Disney Pin Trader Delight, the place that is in California that you can go and get an ice cream or sundae and buy a pin as well, get a pin with that. I've never been to any of those, but you'll see that there are pins that come directly from those places. Those are also a little harder to get, obviously, because you can only get them there. So people will resell, the value goes up on those. And most times those are also limited edition. So here's an example. I'm a little Encanto heavy today, but this is one of the Disney Hollywood Studios stores, and they'll have a special backer card and that logo on them. Like I said, they're usually limited release. It doesn't necessarily say that on there, limited release or limited edition, but these are another sought after. So once they're sold at the retail price and you're looking for them, you will likely be paying a higher value than retail for those. The other thing I want to talk about is the ones that are exclusive to either cast members, Disney employees, or even specific to California. And so those releases will come out and they'll be sold potentially in the store or online. Cast members are the only people who can buy them. Employees, now there are many employees and cast members, so there's plenty of those pins out there, but I can't get them directly because I'm not a cast member, so I have to go through somebody else, like I said, through some type of contest or giveaway. There's things like that to acquire pins as well. In fact, there's all kinds of contests and giveaways that you can get involved in on Facebook, and that could be another whole video in itself, so I won't go too much into detail with that. I mentioned eBay and the hidden Mickeys that are counterfeited. I just wanted to show you one of those. So this is an example. This is Captain Hook, and if you look really closely, you can see the hidden Mickey, the little Mickey icon down in the corner, and that's what we refer to as a hidden Mickey pin. And those are the ones that are counterfeited, and there's a lot of scrappers out there typically. So when you buy those, you know, buy from somebody reputable or buy directly. You know, people will sell the bags. They come in mystery bags of pins, and so you know if it's in the bag, it's a Disney licensed pin, and that's a good one. And there's also jumbo pins. Jumbo pins is something like this that's a larger pin. This one is about the size of the palm of my hand, and this one was exclusive on Amazon. So this is for the Disney World 50th anniversary, but it was released only on Amazon. It's also a pin-on-pin. It's a gorgeous one, and you can see a lot of my background in the reflection of that pin. But I'll take it off just to show you the true size. So it's in a specialty box. It's a special release. It's a exclusive release only to Amazon. And so there is the full pin. And again, you can see the pin-on-pin elements there in that pin. This is a jumbo. They also have now pins that are Tiny Kingdom pins that are teeny tiny, super small, and those are fun too. So whatever you like, whatever size you like. Sometimes it's fun to have one of those great big pins in the middle of a pin display board and surrounded by smaller pins, and that's a lot of fun. And one other type of pin I would like to show you is the mystery box pins. So these are done by Loungefly. There's Disney mystery boxes as well that are sold in the parks or online. And in these mystery boxes are pins, but you don't know what's inside. You don't know which one. So a series like this is a Princess Chibi set, and it has 6 pins that are available and possible to get. There's only 1 pin in this box, but here's the options. So you have Cinderella, Rapunzel, I think we have Moana, Mulan, Little Mermaid, and Jasmine. And so I can buy a pin box and hope for the best, but in reality, you know, I have no idea. I have no idea if I'm going to get the one I want. I could buy 10 of them and still not get the one I want, but it's fun to use these as traders later to get rid of the duplicates or to get the one you want. Sometimes if there's a box where I know that I only want one from there, I may go look at it from a seller or a trader instead of even trying the mystery box. But these are a lot of fun. There's something about a mystery box that, I don't know, it gets me. So you can also, you know, collect just the 1 pin and go for that, or you can try to collect the whole set. And there's some that I will get the set, and I'll just show you an example that I went for it, and maybe I had to trade or buy a few individually, but I was able to complete the set of 9 pins in this series, and they were just a beautiful stained glass pin. And then there's some series that are like a puzzle. And so if you complete the set, you complete the puzzle. And I'll just show you a quick example of that. This one was a 50th anniversary pin. I think this one was sold at Hot Topic maybe. and they came in the mystery boxes, but as you can see, there's 6 different pieces here that end up completing a Mickey head when you put them all together. And so it's got a little bit of Animal Kingdom and Epcot and Disney World, etc. on there. So it's a beautiful completion. And why would I want one, right? Maybe if I was an Epcot collector, I'd just want that one. But in most cases with a puzzle pin, you're gonna want all of them. Okay, so that kind of covers the type of pins. Let's talk about releases next. So real quickly, different parks do different releases, weekly releases, monthly releases. I think I showed you some of the series of monthly release pins. There are people who put out information on what pins are going to be released each month. And then if you join some of these pin trading Facebook groups, you'll see as people go to the parks and on, like if it's a release day on a Tuesday, they'll show you what are the new release pins, and so you can keep up that way. Or Disney Pin Blogs is another great place to find out about new releases. I subscribe to his Twitter feed as well as like him on Facebook. He really keeps up with the new releases and has videos each week that'll show you what's coming and where you can get it, etc. And then of course there are anniversary releases, there's special park releases, there are releases specific for websites like Pink Alamode that have exclusives, so many things like that. The last topic I want to cover is what to collect. So as you saw from my lanyard, I started out kind of all over the place, just collecting what appealed to me, looking at pins that I was drawn to. When I started acquiring more pins, I realized I had to kind of keep it contained in a couple of different themes. So I picked a couple of favorite movies, a couple of favorite characters, and that's what I collect. So when I go to these live sales, when I go and look at a wall of pins to purchase from, I'm kind of limiting to, because I could buy everything. All the pins are beautiful, but limiting my focus to my collections helps me to kind of keep things reasonable. Now, you may not agree with what reasonable is when I show you later some of the pin boards and stuff, but it's fun. I love it, and it brings me joy, and I love looking at all the pins. I'm one who displays pins on my wall, on pin boards, more so than in books, and I'm running out of wall space, but I will find a way because to me that's the most fun. There are people who don't have the room for that and love trading and keeping their pins in books, and we can talk more about that in a future videos as well as to how to display, collect, organize your pins and more there. So if that's something that interests you, comment down below, let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Let me know if you have any questions that I hope can answer or point you in the right direction. As I said, I'm only in this a couple years. There's people who have been doing this for way longer than me and know much more about it, but I hope you appreciate some of this newbie information that might help you as a beginner in your Disney pin collection. So if you like the content, comment, like, subscribe. Look forward to more. I'll be back.